everyone, my name is Lauren Niland and I'm the Deputy Librarian at Highgate School in London. I'm so pleased to be presenting today's National Shelf Service. I've really been enjoying the recommendations so far. I hope that you have and that you enjoy today's, obviously. The book that I would like to recommend today is called Things a Bright Girl Can Do by Sally Nichols, published by Anderson Press. It's a historical novel set between 1914 and 1918, and it follows the lives of three girls as their lives intersect with the suffragette movement and the First World War. It was shortlisted for the Philip Carnegie Medal in 2019, and it was also one of this year's World Book Night books in April. Sadly, I'm not in my school library at the moment, so I don't have a physical copy with me, but it is available as an ebook from your local library. I would say that this book is suitable for readers aged 12 and upwards, all the way up to adults like me who love it, just with the caveat that there are two romantic relationships in the book, and there are also some quite harrowing descriptions of things that happened to the suffragettes historically, such as police brutality and hunger strikes, force feeding in prison. It's absolutely appropriate and serves the story and the characters, but just to be aware of that if for more sensitive younger readers. What I love about this book so much is that I think it's a fascinating look at the lives of women in the early 20th century. I think it's one of those great novels that teaches you things without you even realising that you're learning them. So we learn about the different suffragette factions, we learn about what happens to the suffragettes in prison, we learn about the effects of the First World War, not just on the people that go off to fight, but on the people that are left behind. What this novel does so brilliantly is tell these stories through the three different perspectives of Evelyn, May and Nell. So these three girls are all attracted to the suffragette movement for very different reasons, and their experiences are very different as well. They come from different backgrounds, they have different perspectives on life, but all of them are searching for the same thing. They all want to know what they, as girls, can do in the world. Evelyn is upper middle class, but she's being denied further education. May is a very bohemian, liberal, Quaker pacifist who has her ideals, but throughout the novel she comes up against reality and her ideals and what the right thing to do is. Nell is from a very poor working class background in the East End of London, so she comes up with she's attracted to the suffragettes because of that intersection of feminist and working class rights. All three characters are marvellously drawn. As I said, they all have very different life experiences and very different ways of looking at the world, and each one we follow them through the 4 years and we see their triumphs, sadly some of their failures, but we also see their very real struggle and their realisations of who they can be as women. I found this so fascinating as a historical novel, in the way that it really got into the nuance of the period in exploring these different perspectives. But what has really appealed to some of the pupils that have read it at my school is the way that what these girls are looking for and what these girls are fighting for is something that is really applicable to them today. One of my pupils compared the struggles that they go through in fighting for freedom as the same as what Greta Thunberg is doing today with climate change, that it's young people trying to shape the world. And that's why I think this book could speak to everybody. I would say that it's political, passionate and also important. Women's history is everyone's history, and I think it's really important to see female and LGBT narratives represented in historical novels. I was lucky enough at my school to have an author visit from Sally Nichols a few years ago. She writes lots of great novels, some contemporary, some historical. If you can't get hold of this one, I'd recommend any of her others. And if you're interested in reading more books about maybe LGBT people, women, people of colour in historical narratives where they don't necessarily always appear, I'd also recommend authors like Catherine Johnson and Tanya Landman. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy. If you do choose to read Things a Bright Girl Can Do, I hope you love it just as much as I do. Thank you.